So let's bake some bread. Today we're going to talk about the bread making process. Understanding and improving our business processes is the key to provide better products, better services to our customers. It lets us improve our efficiencies and eliminate waste and make better use of everyone's time. And that lets us respond to an ever-changing market. So one tool we use in business process analysis is called business process mapping. And we're going to use a technique called block diagramming. I'm sure you're familiar with flowcharts, those kinds of diagrams. We're going to use block diagrams. And we're going to start with the end, the output. The output of the bread making process is a loaf of bread. And the customer, the most important person in the process, is, let's say we're at a restaurant eating this bread. It'll be the diner. The customer is the diner at, let's eat at Michelangelo's in Indola. Okay, so we know we're done mapping this process when we're enjoying bread at Michelangelo's. And we have some inputs to this process. To make bread, we need flour and yeast and salt. And the supplier of those inputs, and we may have one or more suppliers. Most processes have multiple suppliers. Let's get it from, I'm going to make up a company name, Indola Baking Supply. And then the process map itself is about converting these inputs into that output. So we'll have a series of steps that go through that process. And those steps are performed by what we call work groups. And in our case, let's look at 4 work groups that are involved in this process. We've got the bakers. We've got the packaging and delivery group. Going to move our product around. We've got sales and marketing. And we've got the restaurant itself. They have some steps in this process. So these purple boxes are column headers, and they are work groups. And then in blue, we're going to articulate all the tasks that these work groups execute. Again, we're converting inputs to outputs. So the first thing the bakers do is combine the ingredients that our suppliers gave us, the flour, the yeast, the salt, and some water. Then they mix and knead the dough. Those of you who have ever made bread know that kneading is hard work. Then we let the dough rise. The yeast is causing fermentation, and that causes the dough to double or triple in size. And when it's risen sufficiently, we then bake it. And you see these tasks are connected with arrows. We call these sequential steps in a process. These steps have to be executed in this order. The sales and marketing folks at the same time are calling customers. It could be bakeries, restaurants. They are updating our website. Say we've got some new bread now where we're baking rosemary into it. And they're also placing ads in newspapers and magazines, maybe on the radio as well. You'll notice these steps, these tasks, are not connected with arrows. These we call parallel steps. They can happen at the same time. I don't have to call a customer before I update the website, nor do I have to update the website before I let the bread rise. These are parallel steps, and these are sequential. And we'll learn more about that as we do more process mapping. Okay, so after the baking is done, it's time for packaging and delivery to get into the game. And they put the bread in bags. And at the same time, the restaurant, because of our good sales and marketing and our good bread, places an order. Now these get dashed lines connecting our sales and marketing efforts to placing the order, because it's hard to know, was it because we called this restaurant that they placed an order, or they saw our bread on the website, or this restaurant owner ate our bread at a bakery and said, I want to serve that bread in our restaurant. So these get dashed lines. We can spend a lot of time researching what are the most effective sales and marketing strategies and emphasize those. Okay, so the restaurant places the order. The sales and marketing group takes the order. And then the packaging delivery folks fill the order. Now, they have what we call, in order to fill the order, you have two preceding dependencies. Two arrows have to be in place. Two tasks have to be in place before we can fill the order. We need to take the order, we need to know, do they want 3 loaves or 30? And we need to have the bread in bags. Do we have 3 loaves or 30 loaves? Both of those need to be in place before we can fill the order. Then we deliver the bread to the restaurant. The restaurant serves it, and the customer is enjoying a freshly baked loaf of bread at our restaurant. So that's a block diagram, and we will go into more and more detail in class about how to use these to transform our processes.